Hello everybody. Starting with a face full of nothing, because this is always the most attractive way to start a video, right? I have a box of Too Faced. How long has it been since we've used Too Faced? Like, I feel like I haven't used Too Faced stuff in a long time. Now, there are some Too Faced products that I really like. Love their peach setting powder, love that. I've got a bunch of stuff here. I'm gonna see what I have that's a full face of and maybe go reach in the drawers and see if I have anything that I can supplement. I'll be right back. So I thought I was gonna have to go into my drawers and then I realized I actually have a couple of samples of things. So I think I might have just about enough in here without having to go get anything that's, you know, already opened. So Too Faced, I bought all this stuff off of their website. I think they had a sale recently and there was a couple things that I thought, oh, yeah, that's cool. I like that. I was interested in that. And then there was like some more sales and, you know, the add to cart thing. I'm looking at this and I'm going, I'm curious if there's anything in here that is going to be like a holy grail or anything that really is fabulous. Some of the things I got are more like travel sizes. So I do have, let's see here, I should probably start with I'm gonna actually start with this. I got a little travel size of a moisturizer. So it says SPF, it's a hangover good to go. And it says it's a super protective moisturizer. I do have some of the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream right now on, little bitty. You know what, this would get me through a week plus, I'm guessing. Yeah, looks like more of a lotion-y type moisturizer. I have to, oh yeah, it feels good. I have to travel to a much warmer climate tomorrow, or Monday. By the time this goes up, it's gonna be weeks later. So, sorry, I do pre-film stuff. But anyway, I have to travel, and I got a couple trips to a much warmer climate. So it's probably good to get back in the habit of doing SPF in my moisturizer. I've been doing a Murad SPF moisturizer and I don't care for it at all. So this little thing says it's a deluxe shadow insurance primer. Okay, so we've got eyeshadow primer. We do have a cooling matte perfecting primer. This primed and peachy, peach perfect, peach mist. I actually like it. And I'm thrilled that it's still available purchase. This seems like a normal size. This doesn't seem like a travel size, but I think it is. Isn't it? Does it say? Infused with peach and sweet fig milk. It doesn't say, so I'm not sure if this is the regular size or not, but let's get a little bit on here. It is peach tinted. Kind of distribute this and see how this works. I probably should have waited for my SPF moisturizer a little bit longer. Primed on, and it feels, I think the primer was definitely thicker than the moisturizer. Not opposed to that. Oh my gosh, I look so washed out and splotchy right now. This is how you know that it's the dead of winter and we haven't actually done anything. Okay, but we're probably gonna gank up the whole thing right now. So when you purchase from Too Faced from their website directly, sometimes you get little samples and you can choose your shades. I don't recall, and you can't really tell what the shades are. It's just like, hey, there's this color. So I picked sand. I suspect this is gonna be way too dark. And then I also have the warm beige concealer. Concealers in these little foil packets are a little on the challenging side. Let's just see how bad this is. If this is, oh yeah, this is way too dark. Oh, okay. So, yeah, that's gonna be dark. We're gonna just kind of put this on strategically. Is it way too dark? I mean, it's a little dark. Can't tell. It's pretty dark. I'm gonna keep this kind of like to my peripheral. Can't tell if it's too dark or not. It's gotta be too dark. There's no way this is the correct color. Well, this might be a little dark, but might not be too dark. I don't know what to do here. So I'm just gonna keep this to where I would normally like contour. Oh my gosh, this wants to come out of this now. We're gonna end up using this all over the face. This could go horribly wrong or it could be okay. I didn't bring in a damn beauty blender because I just really wasn't prepared, but we're gonna go ahead and just sort of distribute this with a foundation brush. Probably should have done more to pull the hair up, huh? Yep, sand is too dark for my typically light medium skin, significantly lighter this time of year. Do you guys like the Too Faced Born This Way foundation? If so, what shade do you guys wear? I feel like I've tried this. I don't remember if I've just recently went through a declutter of foundations and I don't know if this was in my declutter or not. I haven't used a Too Faced Born This Way foundation in a long time. I do like their other ones, like the tinted moisturizer and the peach line. I do like that. Okay. You know what? In all honesty, it's not horrible. My chest looks a little pink and the foundation's a little yellow. we're gonna move on. Hey, if you guys are new here and you don't already aware of this, I'm not a professional makeup artist. And I buy all this stuff with my own money, so it's kind of fun to see, as a lady of a certain age who's not a makeup artist, can we get this stuff to work for us, or do you have to be a cosmetologist? Oh yeah, okay, so I'm thinking warm beige. Beige might be a little dark too, but this is the concealer. I'm just gonna grab a little brush. We're gonna apply this with the, I might be too far away for you guys to really see the full effect of how this is. Wow, this is all very, very yellow for me, I think. So I might be able to come back and use this, you know, in other times of year, but right now I'm gonna say this is kind of a long way from gonna be a good makeup day. We'll just see. We'll just see if we can, you know, get it to work. So aside from the shade options, and I'm going a little heavier in certain places. I don't normally do as much concealer here, but because this is in a foil pouch, you actually get kind of a lot out even when you don't want to. So I'm distributing that, and I'm going to take my brush and kind of, not this brush, my foundation brush, and kind of buff it in a little bit. I feel like that warm beige is a little bit lighter than the sand foundation. Well, let's just see. Let's just see what we could do here. I feel like that concealer is, it's a thicker quality. It's a thicker consistency maybe than what I'm used to. So I'm going to say that the concealer's like a higher coverage, and the foundation isn't a horrible consistency, but this is gonna be fun. Don't have eyebrow product, so we're just gonna kind of, do we even need to do eyebrows? You know, I'm probably not leaving this makeup on. I don't know, you guys, does it look as bad as well, okay, so it almost feels like it doesn't look as bad as I think it's going to. We're gonna move on. I bought this Christmas set. This is the Too Faced Christmas in London. I love London. I've been in London in January, which snowed, which was kind of fun and wet. I think London is kind of like similar latitude to like Seattle-ish, close. It might be maybe Vancouver. I don't know. But this is very, I don't know. You guys remember the Christmas Village stuff? This kind of reminds me of that. It's very Victorian Christmas. I think it's kind of cool. Limited edition makeup collection. So it comes with this big palette. There were several things in this kit. I think you could buy like a set that had like 3 palettes in it. And then there was this one. And this is actually, frankly, a little bit bigger than I thought it was going to be. But it's a whole face kit. So you've got like 4 blushes. And then you've got like 4 blushes and 20 eyeshadows. It's not the best like travel kit, I don't think. It does have a magnetic closure, which is good. But it's still your cardboard packaging, and it's a large format. It's about the size of, let me grab one of my Norvina. Yeah, it's about the same size as like an ABH Norvina palette. So just for comparison's sake, if you happen to have one, then you know what I'm talking about. Okay, and then the kit also came with a little of the Better Than Sex mascara. I heard they have some new Better Than, oh wait, no, that's Paris. I was gonna say, do I have my London cup? No, Paris. I love Paris too. I don't know. And then I also picked up this other little Christmas coffee eyeshadow palette. These ones are fun. This one I think appealed to me the most. It's very much like the same, like a miniature version of like the pumpkin pie one and the cinnamon roll one. But that's the palette, and I thought, okay, this is actually really cute. 8 shades, warm colors. You know, you have a dark, rich color to do some contour, smoke things out, maybe eyeliner. You do have a lighter shade to brighten things up and give your eyes some dimension. And I thought it was kind of a cute combination. This pop of almost like a teal green, I don't even know what I would call it. Maybe it's not even a forest green. A fir green, maybe, spruce green shade. I think it's actually really cool. What do they call it? They call it holiday shit. Okay, so we'll save this for another time. If you want me to come back and try to do 3 different looks with this little 8-pan Christmas coffee palette, let me know. Leave me a comment down below. Okay, let's try this. I haven't tried Too Faced products in so long. Oh, the good thing is that okay, so bad thing, no mirror, whether it's neither here nor there. Good thing is the cover folds back, which will make it easier for me to have a conversation with you guys. Start with some blush. We have 4 different shades in here, and that's kind of fun. There's one that seems like it's maybe a little bit more sparkly. It's called the People's Princess. Not really much of a princess. I'm going to start with the bottom. You know what? I'm going to do all 4 colors. I'm going to do 2 on one side and 2 on the other. I'm going to start with the darker shade down here called Spice Girl, and let's see. Oh, that is super pigmented. I barely tapped into that, and I am getting a ton of pigment. Let's just try to buff shop. You know, I'm all for a buff moment, but despite how bold it went on, I kind of like the color. Especially if it's a day that I'm, you know, just playing, I'm hanging out, or, you know, maybe date night. I would actually be okay with that blush. Okay, I'm gonna take the lighter shade above it. I'm gonna actually color switch my brush. I'm gonna go into, there's a little bit of kick up. I'm gonna go into Carnaby Street, little shopping area, if you guys are familiar. And that gives it a little bit more of a peach kind of shift to it. I'm thinking that that shade would be perfectly fine on its own, and it doesn't need to have the deeper, richer shade to support it. That's okay. I didn't do any bronzer or contouring. Kind of feel like I don't need it with this darker foundation. My favorite Too Faced product of all times, I would say probably, well, I really like there's a couple products that I like. I think I lied. I think when I said I haven't tried Too Faced in a long time, I haven't tried Too Faced palettes in a long time. I really do like the Too Faced Melted Matte lips. I like their melted chocolate eyeshadows, cream eyeshadows, and I really like the chocolate, is it Chocolate Soleil? The bronzer. Really like those. Cleaning off brush a little bit. Hey, let's go into this bright fuchsia shade here. You'll know that these kind of purpley pink colors can actually be pretty flattering. That's pretty bold as well. Let's just kind of buff that up and in, shear it out just a little bit. So the formula is nice, but it actually kind of looks pretty on the skin. It doesn't look too patchy or, you know, weird in any way. Let's try this lightest shade here called the People's Princess. I'm guessing that's a reference to Lady Diana. And I'm gonna just kind of keep this as a blush topper up here because I don't like to get too much texture as I'm traveling down here. I don't like to get too much texture into my cheeks. Oh yeah, that's pretty. A little bit of a healthy glow. All right, let's get you in. Hi. Brought you in a little closer. So we have some eyeshadows to play with. So when you look at this, you see largely, you know, some neutrals. I feel like on first glance, it definitely leans more towards warm colors. However, there are pops of cool toned neutrals in here. You do have some of these kind of lilac-y, purple, purpley colors. Not really periwinkle, but more lavender lilacs. That kind of goes along with the same cool toned sort of vibe. You've got this gorgeous raspberry shade in here. Some colors a little bit more on the, what would I call that? Apricot kind. A little bit more of a pink. And then you've got some, you know, your neutral, warm neutrals, this great green, more of a plum color down here. I think I'm losing you on the screen. So there's some really nice, I think, wearable color stories. Let's do two looks. Let's do one on one eye and one on the other just for shiznit. I kind of want to do something with that green. I like the purples. I have to not do something too everyday normal, right? Because it's what's sort of expected. So I'm going to start with Tower of London instead of Tower of London. We're going to, a little bit, well, quite a bit of kick up. Be prepared for that. Oh, I didn't use the eyeshadow primer. Whew, caught myself just in time. Hey, let's do the eyeshadow primer. I don't think I've ever tried a Too Faced eyeshadow primer. I don't think that's been one, at least not that I recall. If I have used it, it didn't stand out, but this is certainly a nice size. And it has a little bit of opacity to it. I like that. Okay, I don't know how long it's going to need to dry down or if I use too much. Just have to see. Please don't come to this channel looking for expert advice. Most of the time, we're just sort of figuring this out. And one of the things I'm always fascinated by is, do things require instructions? Do you have to read a manual before you can actually use it? Do you have to get instruction for somebody? Or is it self-intuitive and you can just kind of pick it up and start using it? I'm gonna put a little mask back on my lip. Cold weather, Tower of London. So Tower of London, if you guys have never been there, is not really what you're thinking. It's not really a tower. It's not really a tower. It's more of a castle kind of area with like a fortified wall. They have some of like the guard there, affectionately known as beefeaters, and it's very Tudor. Think King Henry VIII and his wives. Anne Boleyn was beheaded there. They do have, I've been there, I want to think I've been there like 3 or 4 times, and they have some really great like galleries that you can kind of see. They always have tours and stuff like that. But they have all these crows everywhere, and I think, or maybe they're ravens, but I think the beefeaters, please don't be offended if your family member's a beefeater. I think the beefeaters have to mind the ravens because if all the ravens leave, then the monarchy dies or something like that. That shade barely showed up, that Tower of London. And I think the London Bridge, which is like the tower, there's the Tower Bridge. London Bridge isn't what you're thinking either, but Tower Bridge is right there near the Tower of London. And it's actually pretty cool. There's a Thames is the river Thames that goes through London, and you can take a little like tour on it. And it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool to see things from the water side because there's like a big obelisk that I think was gifted to the city of London by Egypt. There you can see the Rose Globe Theater, the Shakespeare Theater. There's just some really cool stuff that you can see really well from the water side. I don't know. Anyway, when you come up on the Tower of London, if you do take it from Bridge at Westminster, if you take the boat from there all the way down to Tower, you'll see kind of like the gates where they would let people in and out of if you were being imprisoned there. I don't know. It's kind of cool. Sights in London. Why did I give you guys all that? I don't know. Okay, I'm going to switch over to the other eye because, well, actually, you know what? Let's finish this eye. Let's just finish this eye. I'm going to take Seville Row, which is this lavender shade right here. I would call that lilac. That to me is more of a lilac, not a lavender. Anyway, London is great. I've actually had the pleasure when I introduced the city to my husband. Again, this was like a January trip. We were trying to get into Westminster Abbey because I wanted him to see like Kipling's memorial and some other things. Anyway, when we got there, it was right before Evensong. And so, little pro tip, if you're in London and you want to get like an experience that most tourists don't get, go right, I think it's like at 5:30. It's right after they close for the tours to come in and tour Westminster. But you can go in for Evensong, which is like a big choir, I don't want to call it a ceremony, but it's this beautiful experience where you can sit in this gorgeous, relatively ancient church and hear the most beautiful choir singing. It's spectacular. But they kind of usher you in. If you go in there, you're in. Doesn't cost anything. You just go in there and then they usher you pretty much out. So you don't expect to, be able to tour the grounds and stuff. But what a beautiful, magical way to experience Westminster. Okay, and then I'm going to grab this darker, cool toned here. I'm keeping up in this corner, aren't I? This is called Tea at the Ritz. Now, I've never stayed at the Ritz. I kind of want to stay at the Waldorf. That's on, I think it's on Fleet Street. Fleet Street is, I don't know. Fleet Street's a very long street and it's not perfectly straight. There's a couple things about Fleet Street. One, I think if you saw the Johnny Depp movie, Sweeney Todd, and it talked about the barber of Seville and, that crazy barber that liked to kill people. Anyway, I think that was on Fleet Street, theoretically. Anyway, one of the other things that's cool about Fleet Street is there's a Christopher Wren church there. One of the things that kind of, is interesting about London is there was a church architect, Christopher Wren, and he designed a bunch of churches, and there's still some that are standing and still visible. You can still see bits and pieces of damage on buildings, and it's such an interesting mix of old and new architecture. I highly recommend, if you go to London, peek into some of the Christopher Wren churches, talk to the people that work there, because they love to talk about their church and the history behind it and stuff like that. Met some really interesting people, just having conversations with people. They're excited, especially the smaller churches, because they think that people have forgotten about them a little bit. But you can learn so much about a community and by society by looking at their iconography. You can learn a lot about culture, stuff like that. I don't know. I think churches are fun. There's some big ones. There's a big famous one, and if you climb all the way to the very top, it's exhausting. My cousin was a little concerned that he was going to get struck by lightning, but he wasn't. He definitely went into more churches with me when we went through their time together than he's ever been on alone. But anyway, these colors are pretty. They're not like super pigmented, packing a punch, but they're very wearable. I feel like I need a little bit of lighter shade. So that was Tea at the Ritz, Seville Row, Piggy Pudding is the last one that I put on there. And then I want to use Butter My Biscuits. Who says that? I'm going to use Too Faced at the Carnaby, this pink shimmer right here. That's going to go in the inner corner, just a little scotch right there. If you go to London, definitely check out the Queen's Gallery, the Royal Mews, or all the carriages. The Mews, there's a whole section of London that are called the Mews, and there used to be where they would house the horse-drawn carriages. Some of those have been turned into residences. Some of them are cute little pubs. I have been into Buckingham. The first time I went there, the Queen wasn't in residence, so we were able to get in. My cousin, he lives up just outside of London, and he was able to get us tickets to a lot of this stuff, so we didn't have to wait. I think we might have even had like some skip the line stuff, if I recall, which is a great way of seeing historical places. Okay, so I'm gonna go back into Tea at the Ritz, which is this darker matte that I used in this look, and kind of bring a little bit of it down here. I'm babbling too much. I love London. My son actually started talking about maybe wanting to go to school there. I think he wants to get into like fashion, and he loves Vivienne Westwood, and I think I'm gonna leave well enough alone on this, and let's put a little coat of this travel size that's got concealer on it, this Better Than Sex mascara. I don't think I have a big one right now. I think I might have to look to see if I have one in the drawer. I've got several mascaras that are open that I'm kind of working my way through. The Better Than Sex mascara, it's not a bad mascara. The wand on the full size is very similar to the wand on the little travel size. All right, so we have a very soft, pinky purpley look, and it's okay. Yeah, I think I sort of expected the colors to give me a little bit more punch than they did, but I'm not upset with the look. I think it's wearable. Let's try something with this green and some of these color down here. I'm actually going to start with the green first. The shimmers actually feel very creamy to the touch. They don't feel dry or feel like they have one of those top coats on them that you kind of have to break through the crust to get to the shadow. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Yeah, I don't mind that color at all. Crease brush here. I'm going to go into Spotted Dick. I'll leave well enough alone on that. What's the first shade called? Last Christmas, which reminds me of George Michael. Everybody's got like their favorite British band, right? I feel like everybody, whether it's Pink Floyd, the Beatles, anything like that. One of my relatively recent, even though it's an old song because my husband's band started playing this and I just sort of fell in love with the story behind it. But one of my favorite songs kind of takes place in South London, and it's a Dire Straits song called Sultans of Swing. And I remember Dire Straits when I was growing up, I'm like in high school, early high school I think, they did a song called Money for Nothing, and it was a great song. Everybody knew it. It was very top 40. It's largely, if it wasn't classical or jazz, it was top 40 for me. I had never heard of Sultans of Swing, or if I had, I didn't really know anything about it, or I didn't pay much attention to it or something like that. Anyway, Sultans of Swing is about one of the main guys, one of the, I think, brothers that started Dire Straits. They had, he'd popped into this little dingy, mostly empty pub, and there was a band there. And they were like a Louisiana kind of Cajun Creole type band, and they were playing, and the way he makes it sound, it's like they were almost a little on the cheeky side because they made it feel like they're like this big band with this big following, and they were very confident, and they said, and we're the Sultans of Swing. And there was like nobody there, or there were some people, but they were kind of, you know, these kids that were messing around in the corner of the pub and stuff, and, you know, just not, I don't know. It was just kind of, it was interesting. So anyway, the guy went home and wrote a song about it, and it became one of their top, why am I telling you guys all this? They became one of their top songs, and it's just kind of random because he just accidentally popped in and saw these guys. And they were talking about how, you know, one of the guys doesn't really care if they make it big because he's got another job, and the other guys, I think that's Harry maybe, or anyway, George has got his, you know, his one guitar, and you know, it's just like this whole, I'm guessing, relatively made up story about this band that just happened to be playing in this South London pub. I don't know. Anyway, Dire Straits went on to become, you know, a huge international band. There you go. There's the song. All right. So I'm just using the Spotted Dick again. I'm having a hard time saying that one here. And so right near, I was talking about Tower of London earlier. Right near the Tower of London is this little pub on the corner that I always find myself at. I think when my husband and I went there, we went there a couple times. I've taken my kids there. Anyway, they do the traditional fish and chips with the mushy peas. That's how you know if something's traditional. I'm going to use this shimmer in here. It's probably a little bit dark for an inner corner, but since I'm going a little dark and smoky with this, doing a little dark and smoky with this anyway, I'm okay with doing something a little richer, if that makes sense. Greens and browns. I think I'm going to keep it on this row too. I'm going to grab this shade right here, which I used a little bit earlier to kind of buff out that top edge. This is called Christmas in Cotswold. And I am buffing that in right down here. London is a notoriously expensive city to live in. Similar, in my opinion, to like New York. Most of the big cities, if you ever, you know, if you're traveling and you're looking for property and stuff like that, just keep in mind a couple things. Set your realistic expectations of what you're going to get, because sizes are smaller, and refrigerators are usually, typically European refrigerators are not the same size that we expect. Now, you can get American sized refrigerators, don't get me wrong, but in general, they're significantly smaller. Parking is going to be at a premium. which is probably the reason why so many people take the metro and buses and things like that, public transportation. If you're better off in most places, in most areas, kind of living just outside of town, if it's the fiscal responsibility part of you. And you can find example, different things, but just I don't know, I guess do your research, watch a lot of House Hunters International, and you might get a little bit more insight into it. London is a great city. I think the one probably most dangerous thing that I've run into, now it's probably not the most dangerous thing ever, because you do have like terrorism and things like that that kind of pop up every now and then, but for me, the most dangerous on a daily basis for me was just standing on the corner looking the wrong way and darn near getting hit by a double-decker bus. May or may not have happened more than once. Okay, so what do I think about this Too Faced Christmas in London palette? I think the blushes packed a lot of punch. The eyeshadows were subtly pretty. They're two different looks, right? But they're both looks that I would wear. I'd wear both of these. There isn't either one of these things that I wouldn't wear on a regular basis. And I like the blushes. You almost can't tell that they're two different blushes, but they are. So yay, this is fun. You know what, let's use some of this. This is the mattifying loose setting powder. This is the Peach Perfect. I have a large one of these. So frankly, I got this so that I could keep it with me when I travel, because it is really one of my favorite setting powders. I think part of it smells. Oh yeah, it has that peach scent. I'm gonna grab a little bit of this. I'll just sort of set down that Too Dark foundation, Too Faced, Too Dark. Ooh. I almost think that this powder, for whatever reason, I just accidentally tasted it. Tastes kind of sweet. Probably wouldn't recommend you eating it. Anyway, I do like England. My heart is probably Scotland, frankly. Scotland's my favorite European city. I love this powder. It is so pretty, and I love the scent. Absolutely love the scent of it. All right, moving on. I did get 2 lip products in here. One of them is a lip injection. It says Too Faced Injection Extreme. I'm guessing it's a lip plumping gloss. And then I picked up another one of the melted mattes. This is from the Clover collection. I think it was on sale, and I was like, okay, that color actually looks really pretty, and I do like these. Oh yeah, that's fun. And I do like the melted matte lip colors. Let's grab a little bit of a lip liner here. I've got a House Lab lip liner. We'll try this for fun. I don't think I've ever bought or tried a Too Faced lip liner. If you have any recommendations for Too Faced product, let me know. I gotta be honest, sometimes I get Too Faced and Tarte confused. Do you guys ever do that? I feel bad for even saying that, but it does happen. Okay, so this is the Too Faced Melted Matte. This is called Melted Clover 2. I do have one of the dupes for one of the Clover palettes from C Color Cosmetic, which I think was maybe spring a couple years ago, that the Clover palettes, but I think there was like a Clover 2. All right, this lip color is probably not the right one for this time of year. This feels a lot more spring summery, and I also feel like I might need a darker lip liner. Moving on though. Okay, so we do have a lip gloss. I'm gonna let my lips dry down a little bit more before I go put that on. And then this is another product that I've never tried before. This is the Peachy Mist Mattifying Setting Spray. Let's just see. It smells kind of peachy. It's a fine mist, but a lot comes out. It does feel cooling and a little bit refreshing. So I'm okay with that. I'm not in love with this lip color. It's just not the right time of year, I think. It's actually not horrible. It doesn't make my teeth look yellow or anything, which is kind of something I look for. I need to probably bleach them, huh? So this is the lip injection. I think they came in these little ornament things. Again, I was just buying products from... this is almost dry. I'm gonna give it just another second to dry down. What else can I tell you about London? Black cabs are traditional, right? When you get into a black cab, so you get into it like you would normally get into the back seat of a car, but if you look at the seat in front of you, the seats that are facing forward, right behind them, they're like flip down seats, so you can actually fit more people in there, and then they would be facing you. I don't know if I'm describing it the right way, but it was something I thought was unique. My son left a scarf in one of our black cabs there. Usually, if I go with my husband, we'll fly into Heathrow, and then we'll take a train into the city, and that usually works out pretty well. I don't think it's worth it to try to get a car if you're gonna be in the city. My cousin lives out in Kingston. We usually try to get into like go like tour Hampton Court Palace, which is just outside of the city. I've been to Stonehenge, Windsor, Bath. I've seen a lot of London. Piccadilly Circus, if you want to go shopping, that's kind of like the street of shops. I bought a really great like Harris tweed blazer there. It's a Scottish miller, but they're millinery. Anyway, it's a Scottish weaver that just happened to have some stuff. Scottish shop. Okay, lips are dry now that I've babbled quite a bit. One of the other things I love about maybe not so much London, but a smaller airport like Edinburgh is it's easy to fly to other places in Europe from there. And it's inexpensive. Okay, I picked up a little bit of transfer on this. I'm a little lopsided. Okay, you guys, I need to stop babbling right now. So this was fun to use. I'll use this again. I don't know if it's gonna be like my ride or die. I do like the fact that let me grab a brush here just so you can see kind of, this is like a normal blending brush for me. Ooh, the lips are tingly. I don't know that I love that. This brush is covering up maybe half of the pan size. I don't know if there's a better one to show. Ooh, I don't know that I like this lip gloss. Ooh, this lip gloss might not stay on for very long and I might not be using it. They also came with like a little pouch here. This must have been with these little travel sets. This is like with their diamonds. Is it Rich Girl? Was this came from the Rich Girl collection? Okay. This is the Pretty Rich palette. This reminds me of this case. It just kind of has this like faceted diamond sort of look. Do you know what I mean? Like the diamondy, it's the diamond size pans. Anyway, if you want me to come back and play with this one, if you want me to come back and play with this other Too Faced palette, let me know because I have it and I've never used it on camera. All right, you guys, that's it for kind of a, I don't know what compelled me, but I was like, oh, okay, well, this looked really cute and I didn't see it in stores. And so, you know, yeah, you should probably get it, Shell. I don't know. I like the fact that it's got some really fun colors. Okay, you guys, I think this, maybe it's not vibrant enough for me to go to a like a tropical vacation type thing. I probably have enough colors to get through like a, you know, work trip, but this is overkill for work. This to me is maybe I'm touring a foreign city. I'm gonna be spending time walking around cobblestones in Dublin, Belfast, Barcelona, I don't know, somewhere. I think maybe that would be good for this, or, you know, for every day. So anyway, this feels like a good time of year to use these colors. I'm excited to have that. I don't know if this helps you guys or not. The Melted Matte, this was a little light for me. The shades that I chose as far as the Born This Way Concealer Super Coverage Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer in Warm Beige was too dark, a little bit too dark. The Born This Way Undetectable Medium to Full Coverage Foundation in Sand, I feel like is a little dark for me this time of year, but all in all, it doesn't look horrible right now. I mean, I don't know what it would look like in natural daylight. Yeah, it's a little dark. It's okay. This lip gloss, I feel like I'm gonna start sweating. It's not a good feeling. I don't know what to do about the lip gloss. It's gonna have to come off. I like the eyelid primer. I'll definitely use that. Can't go wrong with the Better Than Sex mascara. The SPF moisturizer is perfectly fine. The primer, I love this peach scent. I think that's kind of what came in probably this pouch was maybe some of the peach travel stuff. Or I bought them separately, I don't know. I think I meant to buy the peach setting spray at one point in time from like Nordstrom or Nordstrom Rack, and they never actually sent it to me and I ended up getting a refund for it. The lip injection, I don't care for that. You guys have to tell me what you think of it. I'm not in love with it. And then I also have this little palette right here that I can't be stopped. All right, you guys, I hope you guys are doing really well. Stick around, hit the subscribe button, please, if you would. I hope you guys are doing really well, and until my next video, bye for now.